Hey guys, it's Joette with BalloonCoach.com, and I am recording this on May 17th, 2022. And today I'm excited to have Elena with us, who knows a lot about Dubsado, and she's going to be talking about creating proposals that convert. So even if you don't use Dubsado as your customer management system, you can use many of her workflows in your system, but she's also that expert for you to go to if you have questions about Dubsado and getting it set up. We learned about all of her wonderful skills from one of my Balloon Boss Mastermind members, um, Melissa Fox. And Melissa's been in the industry about a year now. And she knew from the get go that she wanted to set things in place to take care of all of her customers. And I'm really excited that she has introduced us to Elena. So, Elena, I'm going to let you take it away so we can learn as much as we can during this lunchtime.
Awesome. I have jam-packed a lot in here. So feel free to reach out to me after the training if you have additional questions. I am here as a resource for you. So thank you, Joette, and I am so excited. So push play here. So a little bit about me. I'm an online business manager. I specialize in system strategy and planning, and I really love helping people set themselves up for success. And in my previous life, I worked a lot in the convention circuit, and I did a lot in those event spaces. So I'm excited to kind of be back into that kind of group event space. So today we are going to talk about the different types of proposals that we have available to us in Dubsado, some design tips, ways to personalize it and keep it custom for your customers because you don't want to sound like a robot, upselling in that proposal, some important things to include, and then I have some real life examples of proposals that convert.
Sounds great.
Awesome. So first, I think that a lot of people here already know about Dubsado, but Dubsado, for those who don't know, is kind of like an all-in-one CRM platform. From that first initial contact from your lead or potential event client, all the way through the wrap-up in that end testimonial that you want to gather from them, you can use forms like Ariel, or you can do more of the workflow. I know Diana does a lot of that in her business. And then all of the invoicing and transactions. It's really like an A to Z type platform. So jumping right in. So we have a couple types of proposals, and really you can customize it to build it any way you want. These are just three that I have had success with in the balloon industry specifically. And the first one is a full custom proposal, and this would be for like your larger clients, like your weddings and large event clients, and it's a full custom one. So you would give them the quote, and they would say yes or no. You can put a payment plan on there. You can collect that retainer fee right up front. I always put non-refundable deposit of X amount, whether it be $500 or a certain percentage. And that just kind of cements them in as your customer and provides some accountability on both sides. And then the next one that I'm going to show you is going to be a more buildable quote. And these, we've had a lot of success with setting up all of your different elements that would be included in a build as different packages, and then you just kind of pull in exactly what you want, whether it's, a set of 3 columns or one 9x9 arch and 13 table toppers, and you build it that way. And it pulls in the set prices that you have for those to create that quote for the customer. And that one also allows them to tailor it exactly to fit their budget. You can pop in some extra special suggestions at the bottom and make it really easy to get that upsell at the end. And then the last one that I'm going to show you is a public proposal. So this is a proposal that you can send as a link to the PTA or embed on your website. And it allows people to make their selections, pay their invoice, and schedule their build or their delivery date, all without you having to touch anything. It just pops up on your calendar. I know that Diana is a big fan of this one, and also Melissa has used this one as well, especially for garland pickups and then special events like Christmas, New Year's. The example that I made to show you guys is a graduation column. I was going to do party polls, but I switched to columns. I'm loving all of the balloon content. It brings me a lot of joy. So
Cool. I love that those public proposals, and that can be things that are like the fundraisers, or like you said, they're in those certain types a year, or things for make and take, where make it just a really easy system so you don't have to personally interact with people. So looking forward to seeing all three of those.
yeah, and the one thing that I also, or one of the things I really love about the public proposal is that you don't have to recreate the wheel each time. You can just create a copy of what already exists, switch up your images to make it more in line with the theme that you're going for, and publish that one. And it each has an individual link, and it brings in your client information and pops it right there in the calendar. So for these examples, sorry about that. So this is an example. Can you see that one, Joette?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is my fictitious client, Peter. My poor husband is my fictitious client here. And so this is for like a full custom build where the client wants, maybe in this example, is a full wedding decor setup, delivery, stripe, the whole shebang. And let's say you have a call with this client, and afterwards you're like, okay, I know exactly what they want. This is like the wow package. And so you can create a couple options for them here. And you know, I like to toss in a couple pictures. We'll talk about this more in the design slide, but it's so important for your customers to kind of see your vision, and nothing works better than images when it comes to that. So, you know, you can create a larger package with, let's say, the balloon ring, the garland, the table toppers, and then, you know, making maybe another smaller package if they were feeling hesitant. You can give them some options so they can really see the difference and help them choose that larger package with the more wow factor. And then, you know, if it needs to be delivered, if it needs to have strike and tear down, and you can pop in any stipulations, and these will, once you create your template, these will kind of auto populate in there for you. And we can pull in all of the event details on all of our proposals, and this is a great place to, your customer's going to have eyes on it to get them to confirm those event details, confirm that on-site contact information, and just say yes, this is correct, or no, pop in the updates. So you can see here, a non-refundable $500 deposit must be made within 48 hours to secure your delivery date and order.
And just
So
one
this
little
point,
side
the
note real quick is I just encourage people, that something I've learned over the last couple of years is, instead of using the word deposit, if you use the word retainer, it just has a little bit of legality help, because retainer is more like you're setting aside that time and that date for that person, versus it being like, well, you know, if somebody cancels on you, you're like, well, I don't need that product. Well, by saying it was a retainer, it means that they were paying for the fact that you were holding that space for them. So just a little side note there, because I know I say deposit a lot of time also, but retainer will just help people out a little bit.
gotcha. Yeah, and you can customize this however you want. So that $500 retainer, we could just, like, if I wanted to, so let's say I wanted to go ahead and update this to say retainer, I'll show you how to update that when we get to kind of the walkthrough slide.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so this is where your client would make their selection as what they want. And I already walked through this one to test it, and so it's already live. So so you can see what their invoice is right here. So when they finish their proposal, I have it set up. You can do it differently, but it'll take you right to the invoice, so you can see all the things that are included. You can see that I tested this yesterday, so that's when that $500 retainer was due. And if they wanted to, this is also a test account, so I don't have it set up to my Stripe or my PayPal, but typically there would be a button right down here that says pay, and then they just enter their card details. And one really cool thing that I have come to love that was recently launched is when they pay that first block on the invoice, they can now set up auto pay for the remainder. So we can't set that up for them, but they can choose that for themselves. And I highly suggest it, especially when it's in the event industry and there's a lot of moving parts, especially right towards the end, to just have it on auto pay to give your customers and you that peace of mind that you're not going to show up to an event unpaid. So the next one that I want to show you is what one of those buildable quotes looks like. Still for Peter. I popped an expiration date on this invoice, and I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. But it just has a 72-hour expiration from my initial send. So that means that you won't have a lot of like active proposals out there and somebody can pay and book for something that you sent them 6 months ago that's absolutely not applicable anymore. So for this one, we talked about in our discovery call or in our consultation, we may have talked about a few things that this client wanted for their party. And this is where we'd go ahead and say, okay, and you can pre-populate this for them based off of your conversation and then they can adjust it. But you can say, let's say we want, 4 party poles, 2 nuggets, a column, and an arch. We're going the big shebang. Let's add some foils on there. And they can really kind of create their own experience here. Again, we populated the event details that we gathered from them in our lead capture form. And then they would have to confirm the information is correct. They can't, unless this is answered, they can't proceed. And once they choose all of their selections, they just submit and it takes them right to the invoice. I don't have, so here's that retainer because I created these the other day. And let's see, I think I did. You can create discount codes. So I did a fake discount so we can see what it looks like when this is paid. So there's the whole completed invoice here. And they can go ahead and download this. And as you update their primary invoice, this will update for them. So if, let's say you get towards your event and they're like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about the cake table, you can amend this invoice and you can attach more items to it and it will add another payment on here. And the payments just kind of stack up here. So it works as a receipt. It works as an invoice as well.
We have a question. If the client needs to make a change and selects no, what does the correction space look like?
So if a client had wanted to make a change, it would, when that form is submitted, the proposal form, it lives in the project space. So I'll show you what that looks like. And you would just, when you're reviewing their proposal, you could see at the bottom that they selected no and that they popped in the new details into that space.
So you have to then manually update the new information. It doesn't automatically change, correct?
Correct. And that's if you wanted, if the information changes, I want to be aware, but if you want them to be able to go ahead and do that themselves, they can change any of their contact information inside their customer portal. If that's something that you want to toggle on for them, they can log in and make any updates to their client information. Another way that you could do that is if you put those fields in there, I have it just as a smart field that pulls the information. But if you wanted to create it like kind of similar to your lead capture where they, it auto populates their name in there, but they can change it, you can do that too. And so the last one, did that answer the question, Joette?
Yes, it did. You're good.
And so the last one I wanted to show you is a public proposal. So this can live on your website. You can send it as a link. You can, have it in your Facebook or your Instagram bio, like wherever you want. It's just a link or an embeddable piece. And so in this example, I did graduation columns. And so the thing about public proposals is that we need to have all of that client information gathering included on there so that it's able to create the project in your Dubsado. So this is a very simple one. I think that if Diana were here, she would be chuckling at me. She has some really long, elaborate ones on her site that I love. And you can really do a lot with these. You can add a lot of items to them, a lot of options, and your client just goes through and fills it out like an order form, and it pops it into your calendar on your bill. So on this one, I also included a link to that event lead capture, just in case, somebody's on the page and they're thinking about an event that they're going to have in a couple weeks or a couple months, just so that they have, my events with Elena business top of mind. And it's a direct link right to their, right to our lead capture. But for this one, we're going to go with my high school. We're graduating from San Marin again. And they can choose how many columns they want. I have a limit of 5 on here just because you can kind of create the parameters that you need for this. I can add on a foil topper. I can add on my school initials. And these are, all the fields that would need. So your client would essentially fill this out. My graduate's name is Shelby, and they want to pick it up on, let's say, there's the pickup date. So you can put your pickup hours, Monday through Friday is what I chose. So you can have it all in here, and when they submit in next, they'll be taken right to their invoice, and we're gonna just pretend like I'm paying this right now. And so now this Dubsado has this paid. So this fictitious customer now has 2 columns with foil toppers and letters that will be available to her on that June 3rd date. And we can pull in the date on here. It looks like I missed that when I was making my template. Yeah, so those are kind of how those 3 different ones can work. I know that there's a lot of different applications that we can put into there, but do we have any questions regarding the proposal type specifically?
So guys, if you have any questions about how she's got this set up, this is the time to ask. I know one thing that was popping up was just asking how this is different than All Pro Web Tools, which is another one of the programs that are out there that some balloon professionals use. And the number one thing that I've heard from other users is that Dubsado seems to be the one that has the prettiest look and the feel of being able to have the versatility of how you can put the photos into the proposals. That's the main thing that I've heard. And so if there's anybody else that has All Pro Web Tools currently that wants to type that into the chat, feel free to do that. But the other thing I want you guys to know is no matter what CRM you're using, is to see how she's got these workflows going as far as being able to pull things in from the lead capture and then being able to give you those options of the different types of proposals you can have. I really like this because I think a lot of times people think they have to customize everything. So I love that you've got something that's kind of templated, and then you've also got something that's just out there and can be public and be used over and over again. That's a really nice option.
Awesome. Yeah, and if you guys want, I was going to pop in here. This is kind of the dashboard for Dubsado, and everything, all of those templates are called forms. So here are all these proposal forms that I made. So like we're going to go to this, this buildable quote, because that's the one that we had created. And this is where you come in and you put, your client first name, and that's how it drew in from the client information that we had on hand. This is where we pop in all of our images. Thank you to Google for all of these images. I did not create any of these beautiful works of art, but I dug the rainbow vibe here. And you can see it pulls in all of these fields, and this is how you can create that, customized feel without having to retype everything, not having to copy paste. It really is a great way to reduce errors and to confirm correct information. So this all pulls from that initial lead capture form that can be embedded on the website or sent as a link, and that is where this all comes from. Oh, and then let's go back to
we did
forms.
have a question that was asking about adding and delivering installation fields on the public submission form. Is that something that can automatically be done, or is that something they have to do afterwards?
That's something that can automatically be done. Like if you wanted to collect delivery information, you would add that in kind of as some fields and map it to a project location instead of like the client address. It would be the project address. And you can pop that in there. And then you can have a set delivery fee, or you can have clients choose their zip code and have a different fee depending on which one they select, whether it's, a 10-mile radius or a 30-mile radius. Yeah, to kind of make sure that that's still self-serve and you're not having to touch it a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then here's that main, the custom event one where you can come in and you can change all of the package information. You can change your images. You can have your event details. And then when you need to make a change, where's my little retainer thingy? You can say, there we go.
All right, so guys, I really want to highlight this. She's put a call to action and it's saying a $500 retainer is due within 48 hours to secure this. So you can make that time frame anything. You can make it 6 hours, you can make it 24 hours. But what I hear so many times from people when they're trying to go through that proposal to getting the money, I call it part of my quote to cash system that we have in Mastermind, is that so many times we don't give our clients a deadline. And so the clients don't understand that this isn't just going to be there forever. They don't understand that your schedule is filling up and that they don't have a spot in your schedule until they give you money. So whatever your policy is, put that there, and then also make sure in your email you highlight it. And then if you're talking to them on the phone, is giving them that very specific. That's going to help you convert more of your people into sales when they feel like it's urgent and they've got to book now. If people don't know that there's a reason to be urgent, they're not going to address it. They're going to wait for a couple more weeks. So setting that deadline is super important.
Yes. And another way to help kind of support yourself in that deadline is in these proposals, you can have an expiration date so that they can't, it'll have it at the top when that proposal expires. So it gives them a hard date when, they're not going to be able to make those selections anymore and they'll have to reach back out to you. So you can do it, relative after you send the proposal, or you can say, if it's one of those public proposals, you can have it expire, on the 31st of December if it's a New Year's only project, or 2 days before Valentine's Day if you don't want to accept any more orders up to that point. So this expiration date here is super important. And then this email reminder, you can customize it and it will send to your clients about an expiring form if they haven't submitted it yet. And that is kind of deeper into the canned email settings, but let's say you send your proposal at 9 in the morning and it expires, in 24 hours. And, if it's 6 hours later and they haven't responded, but they said that they were going to respond right away, you can, have a canned email ready to go with those smart fields in there that says, hey, just wanted to remind you that your proposal expires in X amount of hours, X amount of days, and it'll relink to it in that email just to kind of keep you top of mind and make sure that they're not kind of putting that off and putting it on the back burner. So yeah, that's super helpful with that kind of sales process.
So is there a way to have a check mark at the expiration date where the customers check to acknowledge that they know that there's an expiration date?
It would just be kind of a yes/no question here, or you can do a checkbox question and you just add it on here, and it pops it all at the bottom. But you can have it up by the expiration date, or you can have it here and say, I.
And then the other question is there an easy way to transfer current clients from one CRM to Dubsado?
Yes. So
And if
you can. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying if you need to answer that, at another step, that's fine. But I just wanted to make sure we cover that.
Yeah. So for that last question here is, I acknowledge that this proposal expires in 48 hours. So that is just a checkbox that they would have to check before moving on. And you can put it, rolling up to the top here, walking it up. So you can pop it right at the top, so it would be right below that expiration date if you want to. And then we just save, and now we can preview it here. And now it will be right at the top. Oh, but I forgot to put an expiration date on it. So it would be right here, and then that would be there. And then it would be custom for them.
And then I don't know that I totally understand this question. Is there a smart field for expiration date?
There is not a smart field for expiration date. You know what? I haven't used that. I haven't tried to use that. So let's double check. So when you're in your smart fields up here, you can see smart fields related to the project, to the client. This is where you'll also find custom fields that I'll talk about. To the invoice, and this is for the primary invoice. To your business, so this is events with Elena. General date, and links. So no, there's no smart field for the contract expiring.
And so that's just something you would have to custom put in, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can pop it in here if you know that the contract is going to expire within 48 hours. You can, just write that down in here. And in the emails that you trigger to send, at that 24-hour mark, you can just write in, you have 24 hours remaining before your thing expires. Your proposal. Okay, so for the importing clients from another CRM, that would be just exporting it from that other system in a CSV, and then you would import it here into your address book here. And then they would all live in here. And so then you can...
That would be importing the actual client's information, like their name, their phone number, email address, and those kind of things, correct?
Correct.
Because then the other question was, are you able to copy already made proposals from one site? This person uses HoneyBook, and they're looking at possibly transferring over to Dubsado. So, and she loves it. It has the public proposal option. So just wondering if there's a way to put in some of that content also in addition to just transferring this. You said it was a CSV file to bring in the clients from one to the other, correct?
Correct. So for like existing contracts, existing proposals that you have with clients already, you can add those items to their project as a PDF, and it would live within their form. So here's that proposal that Peter completed, and you can upload a PDF here if you wanted those items still attached to their specific projects. And then if there are, what's the word I'm looking for? If there are other assets that you've created in HoneyBook, I know they have a really beautiful brochure system. And if you have that, exported as a PDF, you can you can upload that here as a PDF, but it's not editable. So you'd have to recreate those in Dubsado for it to be kind of interactive and pulling in those fields. And when you sign up for Dubsado, they have really great customer service. And if you send the Dubsado customer service team, I think they do up to 5 existing forms, they will recreate them in Dubsado for you, just to help you with the transition so it's not so manual. So if you are going the DIY route, they will help you create those, which is really fantastic.
That's awesome. The other thing I just want to throw out there, guys, is at the end I'll have Elena share some other information about being able to use Dubsado if you don't have a CRM yet or if you're looking to transfer to it. But the thing that I want to encourage people to know is that she also provides services to help take care of all that for you if you don't have the time to do it yourself. A lot of times I have found over the years that anything technical, I'd rather just pay somebody else to do for me, so that I can stay working in my zone of expertise. So that's another thing that she does offer. So people are loving the proposals. They're really liking, how the forms look. I'm not sure what control means by conditional logics for forms.
So forms do not have conditional logic. It's something that I know that they're working on. So as a Dubsado certified specialist, I get to be part of the secret Facebook group, and they send us updates every month, and that's conditional logic for forms is always on the in development. So it's something that I know that they're working on. I don't know if there's an ETA, but the way that we have found to kind of work within the existing structure is through the workflows. So conditional logic wise, we have, let's say in the lead capture, if you wanted to add a workflow button, and you can ask any questions you want, and then you can have this attached to a different workflow. So let's say you're not comfortable with the budget that they are selecting. You can have them say like, oh, I have $100 to spend, or I have 100 to 500 here, and you can add as many as you want, and you can have these go out to different workflows. So if somebody has a date that you know already, you don't want to do, like if your event is on a Sunday and you're like, I don't do Sundays, you can have it apply to a workflow that will automatically send them an email saying, hey, thank you so much, I don't work on Sundays, XYZ. If you're comfortable with a Saturday pickup for your balloons or for your arch, please let me know. Or if it wasn't a Sunday, you can have it say something different. So that's kind of how we've worked around that conditional logic in that initial lead capture form. So before I know I'm going long here, I could talk about this all day. I would like to show you, talk about some design tips for the proposals. Perfect. So the first thing is to keep it simple in terms of style and content. You don't want your customer to be completely overwhelmed with options and therefore get decision paralysis. So make it very clear as to what you're providing, and beautiful. You provide a beautiful service for them. Helping them visualize what it's going to look like is a huge tool. So having a structure, so guiding them through that process instead of just splattering images on the page. So keeping it in little sections. I don't know if you noticed that I have, a bit of information, and then some images with some selections, and then a bit more information. So you can create these kind of blocks and click and drag them around. And then as we get more advanced, you can add CSS code to those to kind of make them a little bit more fun. But I just love it nice and clean and simple. So again, using images, helping them visualize. Canva is a great tool for this, especially if the customer has provided images of the space. I know Melissa loves to do this, and it's helped her convert a lot of leads. is taking an image of their space, their front porch, adding images of the balloons on it to help them really see what you see, because you guys are the pros here, and helping your clients see your vision is the most helpful.
I love
And
that.
then feel free.
And I just want to throw in, Melissa's one of our mastermind members. So in Canva, she's able to go in and edit those things and use templates that we have as part of the Balloon Boss Mastermind program. So for anybody who's not in mastermind yet or haven't used that part, I want you guys to know that we have training on that in editable templates in Balloon Boss Mastermind, so that you can go in and learn how to take those photos from the client or just a generic tent or dance floor and then put those images in. And some of those images have already been created for you guys. So it's just one of those nice steps that you can then take those files and put them into your proposal. So it works really nice hand in hand. And I love that you say keep it simple, because balloon professionals so many times will say, here's everything I do. And that overwhelms people. And you said that they have paralysis. And so sometimes people will not purchase because it's too overwhelming. So I love that you're telling us to keep it simple.
Yes, we want to make it easy, make the yes super easy. And then include your branding. So, I mean, you want to convey your personality and your brand, and little things from the color of the submit button to, your pictures will really kind of provide that professional touch for your clients. And so then jumping into that personalized touch, we have personalization. So these are some of the smart fields that I like to use that I kind of showed you there. And then Dubsado has a really fun tool that I love called the custom fields. So these are fields that you can create and then use in your lead capture, in your forms to collect additional information for your clients. So for the balloon industry specifically, some of the smart fields I've seen are the recipient, if it's a gift, or the graduate, if it's a graduation event, so that you can collect that information from your client and then use it in a smart field later. So when you're sending that email confirmation for your graduation column, you can have it auto pull in the name of the graduate that they submitted, and it's the spelling, their capitalization, and then they're able to confirm. So there's no room for error there and no double work for you. Your event theme and your event colors, and you can, embed your color sheet on there so they can use your verbiage or your numbers for those colors and themes. Yeah, and this is probably one of my most used tools are these smart fields in the forms and in the canned emails, because I just love them. I always ask for my clients' birthdays and their coffee order, what songs they're listening to. I just love it.
That's great.
I know I'm breezing through these. Sorry, guys. And then the next one is upselling within the proposal. So these ones are this is just kind of some tips that you can use to upsell within that proposal process. And the first one is really defining the scope of the project. So making sure that you understand and your client understand what's included in your project. It's X amount of garlands. It's X amount of arches, table toppers. So defining the full scope so they can better identify like what those upsells would be. So tailoring your suggestions to things you have talked about with your clients. If they had an overall vision that you were able to provide in the initial proposal, but then, had some things towards the end of the call that, oh, maybe we could, do this, or it would be nice if this happened, or, if there were some things that you have helped other clients with that you didn't even talk about on that call. It's a great place to add, the description and a visualization and the price of it so that your customer can really see what it looks like with that added on, and how you can solve their problems in that way.
And one quick question with the upselling and the proposal. Another thing that I've seen people do sometimes is after someone pays is then to send a follow-up. that then has that upsell. Is that something that they can do within Dubsado that's like after something's paid, that then that other upsell goes out for them?
Yeah, you can definitely send that like in a workflow. So like upon payment of the invoice, you can have it send an additional proposal with, onesie twosie items, or, if it's a wedding package, you can have it send, some suggestions for rehearsal dinner, like, or bridal brunch, or, whatever you want. In a year or two, you can have it send for a baby shower, whatever you want to do.
Love that.
Um, and really making it easy for them to say yes, and for them to see what you're offering, and having a clear image, a clear description, and a clear price, so that they can say, oh, I could spend $75 on another party pole. Like, it would be great if we lined the walkway with those, or just helping them see more of your vision. Any questions on upselling?
Not so far. We're doing good.
Okay. And so then lastly, I have some other things to consider when creating your proposals. So, and now we've fully switched over to events with Elena. This is me now. I'm a balloon person. Um, so it's that event detail confirmation. I think it's really important, especially when dealing with in-person events. You never want to show up to the wrong place or be calling, the bride on the wedding day. Not that you would ever do that, but um, and then also payment expectations. So laying those out really clear so that everybody knows what's going on. Your $500 retainer due up front, your 20% retainer due up front, remainder due, 1 month before the event, 2 weeks before the event. And those would be automatically sent out as well, depending on what payment schedule you selected for that project. When that proposal expires. So just making sure that they have all the information that they need to move forward. And that also includes next steps. So after they pay, like, when are they going to hear from you? What's going to happen next? Is it just off into the ether? Yeah, so what's happening with that? Um,
Love these steps.
yeah. And then very lastly is, if you're ready to get started with Dubsado, ways that I can assist you with that. So if you guys have any questions, or like, I'm thinking about Dubsado, but I'm really not sure, just shoot me a DM, or we can jump on a call, and I would love to just chat with you about it. I think it's really transformative for a lot of businesses, whether it's Dubsado or another CRM. Just implementing a resource like that for yourself and taking all that admin out of your brain can free up so much stress for you, or get rid of so much stress for you. And then one that I wanted to let you guys know about is a Dubsado planning session. So it's to help you DIYers like myself kind of plan out your own build and help you create that roadmap so that you have all the tools you need to set up a really great program for yourself. And then also I offer full builds. So yeah.
Yay, awesome. Great information. Can you type into the chat the way for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah. So
And then, guys, if you have any other questions that you would love to pick her brain about as far as having your workflow for your proposals, or a Dubsado question, do you have a couple more minutes, or you need to jump right off?
yeah.
All right.
Um
So one of the number one questions people have is, what is the base cost? And I didn't know for you, do you have any kind of referral code for somebody who wants to go with Dubsado who hasn't yet?
I do. So for just the forms, and the client management, invoicing, the basics, so no workflows and no scheduler, the price is $20 a month, or I think $200 a year. And then for the full shebang with the workflows and the scheduler, all that fun stuff, is $40 a month. But I do have, since I'm a certified specialist, they bumped me up. So I have 30% off your first month or your first year, and the code is Elena. It's just my name. Trying to make it easy. So I'll type it into the chat as well. And I popped it on the bottom of that notes form with the agenda, so it's also on there. One thing that I also love about Dubsado is that your first 3 customers on there are free forever. So if you want to just run it with a handful of customers to begin with, I guess less than a handful of customers, you can definitely get set up with 1 or 2 customers on there and have them completely rocking and rolling before you fully commit. All right. This one. So you can find me on Instagram is where I lurk mostly. Yes, there is a discount, Diane. So that $200 is for the first year or $20 a month. And then I think it's $400 for the pro plan, or $40 a month for the annual.
So it's best for them to go ahead and send a message to you or email you to get that discount code set, correct?
Yeah, the discount code is just Elena.
So if they're on the Dubsado website, they can just type in coupon code Elena.
Yep. And that'll get you, so the best bang for your buck in that regard would be to do the annual plan, and then you'd get 30% off of that full first year.
Great information. So guys, if there's any other last minute Dubsado questions you have, you can ask them now. The other thing that I do want to make sure you guys know about is in our Balloon Boss Mastermind program, if you're already a member or if you're not a member yet, this is one of the extra bonus perks is we have that training that helps you have the editable pricing guides and then also teaches you how to use Canva to be able to make those custom proposals with the images. And so I encourage you that if you're not in it yet, try it out for a month and you just go to BalloonCoach.com and click on Mastermind. Or you can also always send me a email, joette@BalloonCoach.com, and I'd be glad to help you guys out. So before Elena goes, I want to make sure you guys ask any other questions that you may have about making these awesome proposals or Dubsado. And then what I do for all of my live trainings is at the end, I turn off the recording and allow it to have open Q&A. So one last call out for a special message for Elena. And then I want to thank you for taking time today to show us this great information because again, no matter what customer management system people are using, or even if they're currently not being able to invest in a customer management, being able to understand these steps of how to put together their proposals so that people will respond quickly. And it's about just making life easy for our customers. And I love that there's 3 different ways to have the proposals, from the totally customized, the template, to the public ones. Those are great. And I know so many people that I hang out with, one of which is Diana Gladden of Above the Rest Event Designs in Knoxville, Tennessee. I love when I'm on a call with her and she'll be like, yep, money just came in. Yes, another order just came in, because having those systems and having that shopping cart online where people can just buy is amazing. So great things. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and just type, yep, I see that you've been responding to people into the chat. That's great. And so what we'll do is stop your share and we'll go here to Balloon Coach real quick. All right, guys, last call out. If you have questions for Elena, please put them into the chat. It's so great to see how many people are on live today. And as a reminder, I'm Joette with BalloonCoach.com. I help balloon professionals around the world grow their business. And so if you are looking for online training and support, our mastermind program is the way to go. We also have this quote to cash challenge. It's a part of our mastermind program, but I did a free version that's right on my website that you can grab. to help you kind of through these processes that Elena talked about is kind of look at what am I not doing quite right with my program? Why is not the people I need to answering me? And then you can start Mastermind by clicking the button here. You can join us at Summit, which is our annual event in Orlando in November, or this summer, if you're watching this prior to June of 2022. I'll be going on a 5-state summer teaching tour, and usually each summer I do teach in a couple of different places. So if you happen to live near Atlanta, Nashville, St. Charles, Missouri, Baxter, Minnesota, or Chicago, Illinois, I would love to see you this summer on tour. So for extra help and support in growing your business, just go to BalloonCoach.com and check all that information out. And I'm going to check our chat one more time before I stop with not having the recording going. Let's see. Any last minute questions on proposals for Elena? Elena, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you guys. And remember, you can always reach out to her directly or to me, Joette at BalloonCoach.com. We'd love to help you in taking your next step. Hey guys, it's Joette, and one of the questions that came up in our Q&A was about the Canva templates that we have in our Balloon Boss Mastermind dashboard. Our program is $97 a month, and it gives you access to all of the training that I've been putting out since 2015. So at the time I record this, it's 7 years of content. So it's a lot of amazing information from balloon professionals around the world of the things that they do to grow their company. But one of the things that we have found has helped people is having our editable pricing guides. So in our dashboard under editable templates, there's all the different themes that we have, from baby to birthday to holidays, car dealerships, and more. And then we have editable building blocks. So it's like the different colors of balloons, a squiggle balloon, a round balloon that would go for making a design look like a column, to the oval balloon looking like a helium bouquet in different manufacturers' balloon designs. And so you can download those building blocks to put into Canva to help you edit and customize things. And then we have videos that show you, okay, here's how you take this football design for homecoming and change it to the colors of your local school. And oh, you don't need to have it for the football team, but you want to do it for prom instead, take the little football guy out. So we have all that video and training there. But the way the templates work is you actually go in, and so I'm going to go for our graduation and awards banquet template because that's really popular this time of year. And you click on it, and you do want to have Canva Pro to be able to do all of the editing. It's about $13 a month, but you can quit Canva Pro at any time that you want. And as a bonus, I often give a couple of images from our Balloon Boss Summit program that we put professional photography. So like this is a picture that we took at Summit. So you can take out the words graduation balloons and take out my logo and put your logo instead. And then you can go in and edit any of these. So if you don't do helium, take out the helium bouquets. If this design would be $65 rather than $55, you can just edit and change that. And then you can use this in your workflow. So as she was showing you, like having your templates already set up that, they can buy on their own, you could have these 4 different options out for people to be able to select from if you haven't made the actual balloons yourself. And then this is showing like the different organic and then backdrops. And so you can go in and change any of these to the colors that you want to. Again, if you do helium, you've got these designs to use, from real balloon designs to the made ones in Canva. And then you can use these in your guides really, really easily. So when you're putting out your proposal, the client can see what it is. Because if you just say, garland with 3-foot balloon on top, they don't know what that is. Or if you say jumbo number column, they might not get that. But by now showing them a picture of the image, it makes it a lot easier for them to make that purchase because they're seeing what it is that they're buying. So as Elena said, you can download these and put them into your program very easily. So that's just a sample of one of our templates. We put a new one out every single month, and you have access to all of the past ones also. So I'm trying to see if I can get back in here to show you one other one while you're at it. So I had a new member join the other day, and they're like, Joette, we just paid $50 for a one-page template. We had no idea that all of these templates were sitting in the dashboard for mastermind members for us to use to sell. And I'm like, yeah, that's what mastermind's all about, to help you be able to sell quicker. And people will buy when they can see the image and it looks really nice. And many times we don't have time to make all this ourselves. So you can go in and create it. So one of the other things that I really love is our common decor guides, because a lot of times that's going to help you get through corporate events. It's going to help you get through, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to the right one. We have a lot of information. Sorry, guys.
I was going to say, this is jam-packed with information, Joette. Holy
Yes,
moly.
it's crazy what we have in here. I also have an ongoing newsletter template. So when you've got that database of people, you can send out to them. All right, there we go. Trending common decor guide. So with the common decor guide, what I love about this is it's all the classic decor that we typically offer to our clients, whether it's a birthday, a baby shower, a graduation, or grand opening. And so you can go in and anything you don't use, take out, and anything you do use, leave it in. And later on, if you want to change the colors, you can, but stick with what this is now and get it out tomorrow to show people your pricing. And then later on, you can make it your logo colors. But you simply just take my logo off and put yours on, put this year on it, right? Name it whatever you want. But all these different pieces are all here and ready for you to use for your clients. And then I love the idea about showing them their space. So if they're having a party out in a tent, you can then take that decor and show what it looks like in the tent. And again, we have recorded trainings on this, and we are going to have a new live training on Canva for my 4th Tuesday webinar for May. So I'm making sure I give you guys a date. May 24th of 2022 at 9 p.m. Eastern is our next live training, and I'm doing a Canva training to help everybody just pull up on their devices, get into Canva, and edit one template that they can start marketing with the next day after our training. So that's how all of that is set up. And a question is, how do you attach that balloon garland to a tent? We use uninflated 260s, or we use line, depending on where we're putting it at. And we have some more training on that also. Angela, feel free to send me a PM. I'll be glad to answer some more of that after I stop the recording. Another question that came up, Elena, for you on Dubsado is, on average, how long does it take for a full build? They know that they can do it, but they really don't know that they have the time. So like if they were going to you to do the full build, how long does it take for you to build out a Dubsado workflow system for them to be able to do the proposals?
So the turnaround time is about 4 to 6 weeks. Typical process. The first couple weeks, you and I sit down. We talk about what your goals are and what your workflows will be. And I create kind of a list of homework for you, if you will, just about what your pricing is and some of your branding and all that fun information. And then once I get that back from you, I get to building in Dubsado and create all of your canned emails or pop them in if it's something that you've already purchased from templated from Joette. And then we do a testing and build period. And then once it's live, we have email support for about 3 weeks afterwards as you implement it and start to use those features.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to turn off our recording again. Maybe.
And